Hi folks, welcome to the Cannabis Corner. I'm your host, Kerry Burns. I can hardly contain my excitement. Last night, in a historic signing in packed chambers at the Oval Office, the President of the United States has signed Executive Order HC 420. Many people that were there and present attribute this historical signing as equivalent to that of the Declaration of Independence when our founding fathers founded this country. HC 420 calls for the immediate legalization of cannabis and hemp in the United States of America. With parting words, as the President signed the document, he said, "Americans have suffered long enough with this senseless war on drugs, and we're holding up this hemp industry that could supply all of our fuel needs that has just got us debacle to these other countries around the world. And we are passing this. We are legalizing cannabis today. We're legalizing the hemp industry." And there was just a roar of applause as he signed the executive order into history. Now this morning, there was kind of a mixed feelings around the country. Most of it was jubilation because this had been a long-term battle for the people that are involved in the marijuana movement and all. NORML, National Organization for Reformation of Marijuana Laws, they've already planned a big gala event later today to celebrate this. Smokers from all over the country, the 50 million plus that have been smoking cannabis daily in this country, fighting for legalization, praying that their lives weren't turned upside down by some stupid rule, all hit the streets this morning, just smoking and just flailing their arms. They can't believe that this one country that's based on freedom and the Constitution and the bit of freedom of choice and individual rights has finally come about. People were just dancing in the streets. Of course, there were certain parts of the country that weren't as excited, and when the Drug Enforcement Agency opened up doors this morning, the chief of the Drug Enforcement Agency handed out pink slips to its 12,000 drug enforcement agents. All were pink slip, and Section 2 of the HC 420 bill, which stands for the Hemp Cannabis 420 bill, Section 2 of this historic document abolishes the Drug Enforcement Agency, completely does away with it, and it also brings about an end to the war on drugs. This is some pretty strong stuff and pretty strong move by the President, but the movement around the country is just so excited that this has happened. I can hardly contain myself. I'm just so filled with excitement and all. A few of the reporters there right after the signing of the document, they asked the President, what are you going to do now? And he says, well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going upstairs with Michelle and we're going to smoke a joint. And it wasn't long after that, the smell of pineapple kush just was infiltrating the White House and all the chambers and everywhere around, and people were just going crazy. Of course, there were the people out there, the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, big pharmacy that stands to lose about 90% of their business because they know for a fact that the cannabis herb is going to replace about 90% of all the prescription drugs out there. They are just on their knees this morning begging for mercy. They're begging that this be rescinded and all that, but guess what, folks? It has happened. Cannabis is legal in the United States of America. Finally, we have some leadership that stepped forward and signed this historic bill into law, and its effect is immediate. I mean, it's just fantastic. As I sit here and talk to you, I could pull out a joint and legally smoke cannabis in this country without fear of going to jail, as can all Americans now. We don't also, too, the medical marijuana patients, they don't have to go get tied up with some doctor to get a prescription for an herb. That's been the most ridiculous thing from the beginning, since the first designs of medical marijuana even came out. The very idea that we're going to turn an herb and herbal medicine over to the recommendation of a doctor. That's just, why don't we get the newspaper boy that delivers the newspaper at the White House to fly Air Force One? It makes about as much sense. We don't have to deal with these doctors, and nor should we have to. Cannabis shops will be open everywhere. Anybody that wants to grow their own, grow as many as you want. You're not limited to 28 plants or 28 ounces or whatever. Grow 1,000 pounds if you need that much to get you through a year until you can grow another 1,000 pounds. Whatever it is, cannabis is legal in this country. And finally, the citizens of this country can get an idea of what our forefathers, our founding fathers, meant when they wrote the Constitution and talked about freedom of choice and individual rights. This has been one of the biggest detriments to our Constitution. All around the country today, constitutional lawyers are just praising the president for this bold move that he's done. And it truly is historic. Finally, some things of our Constitution that had been taken away and just what people thought had been stripped and trampled underfoot and just destroyed finally have been brought back. Of course, we have 12,000 drug enforcement agencies that don't have agents that don't have a job this morning, and all the administrative staff of that. But just think, we're going to save $25 billion. Homeland Security is also going to have to trim 90% of their workforce of the over 250,000 people that work for Homeland Security. They're going to be down to around a 10,000 member group because 90% of Homeland Security has been to stop the marijuana flow across the Mexican-United States border. They are using it as a ruse to stop terrorism and Homeland Security and protect citizens, but everybody in America knows that this simply has only been doing one thing, and that is to stop the marijuana flow coming into this country. When you look around the globe after news of the signing got out and all, I mean, in England, of course, they've had fairly lax marijuana laws over there. The English citizens were just cheering for Americans. They finally can see in America that the founding fathers initially set up. They actually are going to exercise individual rights and freedoms. People in Amsterdam dropped the prices across the board for the cannabis products in all the shops because they knew the legalization. Here it comes, the prices falling off the mark. Here in America, the citizens woke up this morning and the prices they had been paying at cartel prices fell off the chart. They were able to buy cannabis this morning for $10 an ounce, down from $500 an ounce just last night before the signing of this historic move by the president. It's just unbelievable. Hemp, the amount of jobs that are being promised to people that are filing applications right now of all the new industries that are starting up just since last night, just in the hemp industry alone, are going to put a complete dent in the unemployment figures that we've been just bogged down with for years now. There was absolutely no way out of it. And finally, this industry is going to put all those people back to work. We're already seeing the signs. Wall Street, on the futures market for the oil prices and stuff, they are falling like a lead balloon. Let me tell you, you look over in Saudi Arabia right now, the OPEC producers, all of those guys, they are in meetings right now. And what they're doing, they're discussing strategies on how to drop the price of their oil and the price of gasoline around the world because they know for a fact now they will not be able to compete with the hemp industry. Even gas prices dropping in half to $2 a gallon right now are going to be double what they will be once we start producing hemp oil and hemp fuel for the cars in America. And the Saudis and the OPEC leaders, all of those rich billionaires that have just been sucking this country dry, they're running scared. Even some of them are even trying to figure out a way that they can start investing in hemp businesses here in this country. In China, the Chinese ministry over there, they tried to, this shows you how much they know, they tried to patent the hemp, growing in the hemp process. And they were scolded by the Chinese president for not watching Time for Hemp and knowing that you can't patent a plant, you can't patent a process that's a natural process. So they're running scared. They're trying to figure out a way that they're going to be able to milk this country of more money other than interest on the debt because they know that debt's fixing to be paid off. Once we get a few crops under our belt, bye-bye Chinese, we won't need you anymore to borrow money. Guess what? The hemp industry is going to bail us out. Bye-bye Saudi oil. Guess what? We're not going to need you because guess what? We're going to be growing our own here. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for finally seeing past all of the BS, all of the lies, all of the things that we've known since the dawn of time that nobody has ever died from using this herb, ever. Nobody has ever gone to the hospital in modern day time in this country for an overdose of cannabis. Nobody has ever been hurt from it at all, while countless millions and millions and millions have died from the effects of legal alcohol, legal cigarettes, and legal prescription drugs. Big pharmacy, bye-bye. Big tobacco, bye-bye. Big alcohol, bye-bye. You all are going to get your just due because finally, a natural herb, a God-given plant that was put here on this planet by our Creator and the Maker of the universe, finally is going to have its day again in America.
Gary, yo, time to shoot cannabis. Look out. Hey!
What? Oh, that was a dream? Oh!